The Cholo Nerd returns, and finally we are going to spoiler talk The Punisher, because finally we finished it. So now we are able to talk about it. It took a while.
That was a slow series.
Yeah, that was a slow series. So let's dive right in. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm the Cholo Nerd.
And this is our spoiler talk for Season 1, or maybe the only season, I don't know how it ended, with The Punisher. So looking forward to diving into this show and get our thoughts out on the table and all kinds of fun stuff like that. I was surprised at how slow a show about The Punisher moved.
I was too. I mean, because Daredevil Season 2, when The Punisher came in, I was like super stoked. It's like,
oh
this guy's going to murder everybody.
Yes.
And he does. I'm not going to say
in Season 2 of Daredevil, he did murder everybody.
Yeah.
And then, like, so many awesome things between Frank Castle and Matt Murdock, you know, the whole ethics of what they're doing, and Frank Castle being like, I think you're just a half measure. I mean, he was punishing everybody. And so, you know, I guess that kind of made me think, man, if he has his own show, that's going to be, like, more gory than Game of Thrones. And it is in some parts of it, but overall, I have to say what stood out to me the most was the slow pacing of this show.
I agree. The pacing, oh, man, it was tough. It's like they didn't have a lot of material, so let's drag it out. 13 episodes. I feel like 13 was too long. Way too long.
I think so, too. But it's interesting because I was back and forth, because there were times when I was watching The Punisher, and it was just going so slow that before I knew it, I was scrolling through stuff on Facebook, and I didn't even realize I had actually stopped watching this show. It's just almost a reflex. I'm like, oh my gosh, I must not be that interested. But then there were other times where it was just going really slow, but just the way the lines were written, the way the story was, like, I was still interested.
Yeah.
And that was kind of weird. It was like this weird feeling, because, like, it was kind of negative that it was slow paced, but it also wasn't the worst thing, because it still interested me.
Yeah. I love the storyline of it.
Yeah.
It just felt so long.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I liked is what honor it gave to our troops, because it talked about the wars that they fight and post-traumatic stress and learning to live with that. And you know, like, I thought it did a really good job touching on that in a very respectful way and showing respect to the troops, and then making Punisher more than just this guy going around and shooting people. Like, they really took their time to develop his character and make him more than that. Yeah. So I respect that aspect of it. But
yeah, and what's that guy's name? Lewis? He's a great example of it. Mm-hmm. He came home, but he didn't come home.
At all.
He had some issues going on, clearly, and therapy wasn't working. He needed something else to help him out. And he got his jollies off killing people. It was crazy. But
you know what was interesting, though, was the moral conundrum that raised for Frank Castle, because Lewis was inspired by the Punisher.
Yeah.
And so he thought, you know, when he blew up that building and, you know, taking matters into his own hands to show the world that America wasn't taking care of its soldiers and things like that, like, because of what Frank Castle did, he stepped out to do it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting, because I think it forced Frank Castle to think about it a little bit, to think about what his actions broadcast to other people.
Yeah. He's like, we're on the same page here. And Frank Castle's like, what? And then he explains himself.
Yeah.
And it, like, sinks in for Frank, like, crap.
Maybe a little bit.
You got a point there, but we're not on the same page, but,
yeah, he's like, I'm trying to punish people that are really bad and that the system is saving, and I'm not destroying the innocent people. But, like, to me, that was like really, I didn't know what they were going to do with his plot. But what was kind of interesting was his whole plot was very disconnected from the main story.
Yeah.
And I think and I'm not saying that's negative. I'm thinking the whole reason for that plot was because they wanted to flesh Frank Castle out more than just a dude walking around killing people. And I think this was one way to do it, and that was to force him to take a look at his actions and look at it through the eyes of somebody else that's like, but I saw what you did on the news. I saw what you did in Daredevil Season 2, and now I'm taking it into my own hands. And so it's like, I think that argument was a good wake-up call for Frank.
and we know how the news manipulates things and all that. So he's getting one piece of a story and he's running with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One thing that stood out to me is what the heck happened in Narnia that turned Prince Caspian into this crazy psycho.
Hey! I am not the one who abandoned Narnia.
I get it. You were in the war. You were in the war in Narnia. You know, you fought up for what was right. Now you're this crazy guy who just wants to kill his best friend.
Yeah, I know. And he was so obsessed with his pretty little face. Like, the moment I realized that was Prince Caspian, I suddenly went, that's why they hired that actor to play Billy Russo.
Yeah.
They hired him because that is a good-looking dude.
He's a sharp
And they made
dude.
that guy so vain.
Yeah.
He was so vain. Like, that was like perfect casting. It was so vain.
As soon as I started watching, I was like, where do I know that? That's Prince Caspian! And I was like, oh, and as soon as I was like, he's a bad guy. Holy crap. They made Narnia bad, you know.
Well, you know, when they took those Narnia books and made them into movies, they changed a lot. And if they had gotten to the silver chair, I'm sure the lead into Marvel would have been in the fourth book when the green snake lady turned into a poisonous snake and bit Prince Caspian's wife and she died. That must have been the thing that pushed him over the edge, and he used the reality gem to transfer himself into our reality, where he then, you know, becomes Jigsaw. We have found the Narnia Marvel connection.
Found it.
Narnia is part of the Marvel Universe, part of that multiverse. There it is.
You're welcome.
Yes. Now, this is where I'm going to need some of your Marvel expertise because most of what I know of the Marvel Universe is coming out of the MCU because I grew up reading DC. I did not grow up reading Marvel.
Yeah.
And so all I figured out was through a spoiler online that this was the birth of Jigsaw, the way Frank totally messed up his face at the end and all that stuff. I know nothing about Jigsaw. I know nothing about, like, Punisher's villains. So, okay, your thoughts on that whole thing.
See, and I don't know a whole lot about Jigsaw either. I have one comic with him in it, and it's when he's partnering up with the Punisher.
Interesting.
And he's wearing camo stuff. So I don't know a whole lot about him other than he was a partner, and I know the name that came up. So I want to do some research and buy some books on him so I can learn more about the Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Because the Punisher was my least favorite character.
Okay.
I loved when he teamed up with Spider-Man in a couple comic book series that I have. That was cool, but the Punisher didn't have superpowers to me, so sorry.
Yeah. It almost makes me wonder, how does a teenage Spider-Man who's happy-go-lucky, borderline, you know, corny, team up with Punisher who kills all of his bad guys?
Well, they're teamed up to get rid of Kingpin.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's a good team up then, I guess.
And the Kingpin in the comic is a lot stronger than the Kingpin that the Daredevil fought.
Oh, man. And I thought he was a pretty big, strong dude.
Yeah. Now, he's a big, strong dude in the TV series, but in the comic book, he's really strong.
Is it like superhero strong, or is it just like, superhero strong?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And he's a sharp dresser, too. All white.
Oh, well, of course. Yeah. He's always a sharp dresser.
Ivory everything.
That's what bad guys who are bald in comic books do. They're rich and they dress nice.
And see, I wish they kind of did that with Kingpin, though. So
yeah.
Then they could have teamed up to take him out.
That would have been cool. That would have been a great way to get Kingpin out of prison in this Marvel TV series.
And I'm surprised they didn't hint at Kingpin.
Yeah, no hint at Kingpin. This actually felt very disconnected from all the other Marvel Netflix shows.
Yeah, they didn't even acknowledge anything.
No Claire, who is in all of these. The connective tissue for them all. Claire was not in this at all.
Every single one of them. Where you had Karen Page, and I forget the detective's name.
I don't like Karen Page at all.
I don't like her either. I like the detective because he doesn't like that Foggy would give his mom cigars to bribe him, but they're not bribes, right?
Right, they're not bribes. No.
Not bribing her. But I don't like how there's no acknowledgement of anything Marvel in this movie.
Yeah.
In this show.
Not even, even the other shows kind of would give an acknowledgement to Thor or Iron Man, and we get an idea of where we are in the timeline. I mean, not a big idea, but there's little acknowledgments.
Acknowledgments that things have happened in the past.
Yeah, this one is its own little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I mean, it's Marvel. We're sharing the same universe, minus the Fox part of it, which is coming back soon.
Apparently. If that Disney deal works out, man,
we can get Wolverine.
It's not going to be long. Google and Disney will one day own, Google will have 50% of the world, and Disney will have that other 50%, and then that's World War III.
the Civil War.
Finally, we get to the end here, and I like David Lieberman, kind of Punisher's helper and
Good
stuff
old
like
Micro.
that. Yeah, Micro was a cool little guy there. That was kind of weird though between Frank Castle and David Lieberman's wife. I was just like, oh, what is that?
A little awkward there.
And he has cameras in every room in the house watching, which is a little creepy, but it is his wife and kids, so it's not like he's weird, but
yeah, a little weird. I mean, but he wants them protected. He wants them safe.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Not that he can really do anything about it, because homeboy can't fight.
Well, until finally Frank Castle comes into the picture, and then Frank kisses his wife. Well, the wife kisses him, but he didn't fight that too much, did he?
No, he didn't.
And he knew the cameras were there, and he just sort of...
I think he missed what it was like to be kissed by a woman.
I think so, too.
And especially for her, it was something different. It wasn't like who her husband was, who's a computer guy, does all this technology
hands-on stuff. Guy who gets his hands dirty and fixes things.
Yeah. She saw something different, and she's like, I like that guy. Look at him.
Yeah.
All tough.
Yep.
Look at that. His nose looks like it's been broken. He's got this limp.
My wife kept talking about his nose throughout the whole thing. She's like, that nose is so messed up. He's going to get recognized everywhere he goes just because his nose is so messed up.
Right?
Yeah.
Distinct. It's noticeable.
And then we finally get to the end of this movie where Frank is being tortured and he's getting all of this on candid camera in a very smart way. But it's interesting because of almost the slow pace of this movie. I forget the name of that bald guy soldier dude who was really passionately beating the snot out of Frank.
Oh yeah, what was his name? I kind of lost interest in him because I kept staring at his eye.
Yeah, his name was Rollins. Rollins. Yeah. It's funny because he was interesting when we were introduced to him. It was kind of cool to see the milky eye in the beginning and know that Frank did that with like a punch. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. But like you said, it wasn't long before I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Billy Russo was the one I cared about, especially when I saw Billy Russo teamed up with Rollins.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's a low blow. But I think what ruined it is it was so slow paced. I think if it was 4 episodes less and 9 episodes long, just like The Defenders, I think that pace would have worked a lot better.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was dragged out.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a lot of interest in it.
Yep.
And I was curious because I loved the first Punisher movie with Tom Jane.
Yeah.
So I liked him as the Punisher.
That was okay.
I was like, this is cool. And then when I saw him, Josh Bernthal being introduced as the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2.
Is it John Bernthal?
Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal.
Josh Bernthal. Who's that?
I don't know. I like it, though. Josh Bernthal.
Attorney at law. Ooh. But when he was introduced as the Punisher in Season 2 of Daredevil, I was like, this dude's bad. I was like, okay, I like him the most as Punisher, so I was super stoked. I guess I got my expectations up.
Yeah.
But aside from the Daredevil series, the Netflix series have just been pretty good.
Yeah. Daredevil to me is excellent. The other ones are good.
I like the Daredevil show better than a lot of the movies.
I do too.
It was really good. And
both seasons of the Daredevil show. Yeah.
Very strong. And all these other ones have just been okay to me.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Punisher, and I thought it was a very interesting story, and I respect what they were doing to try to make Frank Castle more than just some dude walking around killing people. I respect that. I respect how they showed a great amount of honor and respect to our troops. So there was a lot of pluses and a lot of things I liked. I thought the story overall was really, really good. Interesting characters. Like Madani, she was a great Homeland agent and a very cool, strong character. Yeah. Very horrible when her partner was killed by, Prince Caspian, and then Prince Caspian is still trying to calm her down the next day. So, things like that were really smart and well written, but then it was just so slow. And I don't know what else to say. And that's not the worst thing, but it just, there were several times I was on Facebook while an episode was on.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Or looking up stuff about Marvel.
Yeah.
I had really short attention span when it came to the Punisher.
Yeah.
Until the crime scenes came in.
Yeah. Until it got violent. Then I'm like, yeah, here's the Punisher.
Yeah.
The whole last couple episodes were amazing and stuff.
I guess the question for me is, how is he still walking? He's got about 80 bullets in him. And then the end of the series is all 3 days later, and he's like, oh no, just walking, no. You don't have superpowers. You don't heal quick.
Just the scene in the woods where he was trying to save his other fellow soldier and stuff like that, and all the stuff he went through there. He should have been out of commission 6 months.
Yeah.
And then, there he is taking more punishment, in the last episode and stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then you made the point when we were watching the last episode. This guy gets shot everywhere but in the armor. And still manages to
what's the point of wearing armor? You're just going to get shot. If you don't wear armor, I guess you don't get shot.
Yeah.
Because you wear it and boom, 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 boom. Like, whatever. It's your life.
But I like Jon Bernthal. He's a great Punisher.
Yeah, he's great as the Punisher, yeah.
Yeah. And, oh my gosh.
I like that he just walks with that limp all the time now.
Yeah, the limp was cool. And he pulled that off, like this manly limp walk. It was so cool. Curtis I really like Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like the mediator in that thing,
Yeah.
He lived in war. He lives in, civilization. He's trying to help people out, do a lot of good. And even towards the end, when Lewis was going crazy, he's still trying to help him, knowing he's probably going to die right then and there. And not to save his own life, but to help him out. Because he sees the good in everybody.
And I love that about Curtis. I thought Curtis was a strong character. So even though the show was slow-paced, and that is my biggest negative with the show, I still thought it was interesting, and there were a ton of great characters, and so, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to give it a B. What would you give Season 1 of Punisher?
Probably a C+.
A C+? Okay.
The reason why I would score it a C+, the show was dragged out, but the action and the violence was amazing. When you had it.
When it was there.
For the 3 minutes per episode.
Yes, the 3 minutes per episode where the Punisher got shot everywhere but his armor, and then still was fine by the next episode, yes.
Yeah. Somehow he was able to walk off a bullet wound.
Yep. Well, that's a man for you.
I guess I should have questioned, how long has it been since he got his feet drilled by
Oh my gosh,
Mafia?
yes, from Daredevil Season 2.
So how long has that
gosh.
been? Because remember, they drilled holes through both of his feet.
It's been a while, but yeah, that would still be impacting him. Maybe that's why he has that awesome lip walk.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, but I feel like they didn't give him a lot of time between them because it shows
I don't think so. Yeah.
I feel like this kind of instantly happened, so I don't know.
Well,
whatever.
Yeah. It's still a fun show. I think we would both still recommend it. You just got to go to it knowing it's still slow, but has a lot of great things about it.
Non-Marvel fans will enjoy it because it's a good story.
It is a good story. It is a very good story. Very grounded and down to earth, too. So it's, other than, he walks off a lot of bullet shots, very grounded and down to earth.
Yeah, comic book fans get mad.
Yes.
But normal people,
normal people,
they don't get mad. See, I got mad. I was like, this is not, whatever,
Well, that's our thoughts of The Punisher. What are yours? Please let us know in the comments. We want to have a conversation with you about it. While you're there in those comments, hit that subscribe button and become a Durbanian, and hit the bell next to it so you're notified the next time we drop a movie review, a spoiler talk, a theological analysis, trailer reaction, or any number of things. And I want to say a huge thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. Your support of Durbania means so much to me, helps me continue on to do all these great things, and hopefully one day do bigger and better things. So thank you so much for all your support. I'm Durbin.
I'm the Cholo Nerd.
Thanks for checking out Durbania.